This broadcast is a presentation of Wcxo Sports. Wcxo Sports, since 1999, the sports voice of the Carlisle Indians, the Central Cougars, the Mater Dei Knights, and the Westland Warriors, presents Talkin' Sports on Max 96.7. Talkin' Sports is powered by Brett's Wildlife Lodge and Winery in Carlisle. Talkin' Sports is brought to you by Munkin Dodge Chrysler Jeep Nissan in Centralia. Kaskaskia College. The future's yours at Kaskaskia College. Emin Insurance Agency in Carlisle. Farmers State Bank of Hoffman, Central City, and Hoyleton. Nordike Funeral Home with 5 locations to serve your needs. McKendree University in Lebanon. Seaver Brothers in Carlisle. 12 Oaks Vineyard in rural Carlisle. Good Old Plant Land. And by Becker Jewelers with locations in Breeze and Highland and always online at beckerjewelers.com. Here's the host of Talkin' Sports, Rip Nottmeyer.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Talkin' Sports. Rip here in the Bird Watson Health Mart studio on this Monday. Coming up later on in the back half hour, just a short term in, we're going to talk with former Illini Hoops standout, Carlisle High grad, of course, Tom Michael, and as always on Monday with the Easy on Travel, Little Augie's Pizza, Clinton County Prep Athlete of the Week. But we begin, as is the norm, with scores and stuff, brought to you by Mideastern Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning in Carlisle, the hometown source for residential and commercial work. And it's time for scores and stuff, and we take the Johnston Jewelers guest line over to Columbia for Brad Ripplemar. 2 rips, no waiting. This is scary. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, Rip. Thanks for having me on.
This is a first, but we'll have to proceed with caution, I suppose. I believe you had a little weekend trip to Kansas. So how was the weather out there, or Kansas City anyway?
Kansas was a couple decent days, and then a couple not so nice days like we're having here today. So.
Yeah, it's a little crazy with the snow and all. Well, let's get in there were a couple of snowouts today and tonight actually together in the major leagues too. But let's get with it. Let's take a and we have to start out with our local scene tonight, Brad, because it's a big night for Aveston's Trevor Richards. You're big on baseball, you know all about it. But he gets in about 10 minutes. He's going to rev it up for the Miami Marlins as a 24-year-old. He gets his first big league start. This is really special.
Yeah, that's absolutely. I've been following it a little bit over the last few days
Sure.
as I saw the news that he was going to be called up, and great for him. That's got to be a thrill. Every young boy's dream, especially if you grew up here in baseball country in the Midwest. Happy for him for sure.
And he probably would have made the squad right out of spring training, but he wasn't on that 40, so they did some juggling. They got him on, and he gets an easy task too. He has the Red Sox tonight. Oh man!
Yeah, good luck with that. I guess when you get to that level, there's no, there's really no easy outs or no easy games, and you just have to take whatever comes your way on opening night. But yeah, again, great for him. Got to be exciting.
One thing about it, they haven't seen him either, so, I mean, not at all. I doubt they have much any kind of tape on him or anything, but he was spectacular in spring training. 2-0, he had a 0.75, and he pretty much dominated the Nationals, and that was mostly their regular lineup. I know exhibitions, that's different when it really cranks up for real, but still. And, that's going to be great tonight, and he has 25-some family and members and friends on hand, and coaches from Drury University. They're at They'll have the place to themselves in Miami with the Marlins Park. They might be in the dugout, huh, Rip?
Exactly. There might be as many people from Aveston as there are from Miami at that one.
And most of the rest will be Boston fans. So
that's right too.
Now you played minor league ball. How far did you get? What level did you get up to?
So I played 6 years in the minor leagues for the Braves, and my last 2.5, 3 years were in Double-A.
Double-A, so you did go 6. I wasn't quite sure. I remember when you played and stuff, but wasn't sure the length of time and so forth. So Double-A, were you ever on the cusp of Triple-A, or did you?
I maybe I was. I went to Major League Camp 1 year and did
great.
really, really well in big league camp. And then they wanted to send me to AAA, but there were already a couple of catchers there. And just, it's when you get to that level, AA, AAA in the big leagues, at least in most organizations, there's a little bit of a logjam because guys are moving up from the lower minors, and not everybody obviously can play on the big league team. And that's when it really gets tough to keep pushing forward. You see a lot of decent players who kind of fizzle out in single A and double A because, for one thing, the competition gets harder, but
Sure.
but also there's just not as many spots for everybody. And and so I had a really great time. Gave it my best shot, just didn't quite work out. So,
Well, hey, I applaud you. I would have given anything to reach the heights you did, but that's great. And I continue to pull for people like you and all of our locals, of course. And we've been fortunate with our share and more. And let's see now, your grandpa, that would be Ray Ripplemar. Is that right?
so that's actually my dad.
That is your dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so my dad was Ray, and a lot of people refer to him as Bud, kind of his nickname, but Ray was my dad. So he was in pro baseball
Sure.
40 plus years in a variety of different roles and positions. And then, then I was fortunate enough to play 6 years. And then I coached for 3 years in the minor leagues with the Tampa Bay Rays.
Great.
Really thought I would do exactly what he did, just stay in baseball forever. And then we had twin girls about the same year I got released from the Braves. We had twin daughters, and
Stuff
over the
changed.
next couple of years, as I was coaching, my priorities just shifted a little bit,
Right.
and and so I didn't pursue it and stay in pro baseball as long as he did, but yeah, great memories for both of us.
Yeah, that's great. I wasn't. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I messed up on the the years in there. But Ray, that's a long story, and I have to tell you some other time. That's how I got my nickname Rip, actually, through your dad. And I remember when he was pitching coach for the Phillies.
Yeah.
And at the same time, he'd come over he'd do the JUCO scene for sure, and he'd officiate basketball games.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
That's exactly right. A lot of people don't know that, but he, as money was a little different in Major League Baseball back then, and
Sure
so even
was.
though he was a coach and made a decent living, he was not making millions of dollars like some of the managers and coaches are today. And so in the off season, he would officiate basketball, and he tells me some great stories about refereeing Larry Bird in the Missouri Valley Conference, and a variety of really good players from around here in the Midwest that he got to officiate back in those days. So yeah, he's had a pretty interesting career for sure.
Yeah, those were even some great, because I remember point blank, he didn't take any guff from anybody, and that's fine by me. That's good. So I'm glad you straightened that out for me. But
Sure.
the Cardinals have straightened out their early season. They won again today as they tanked the Brewers 8-4. DeYoung is really hot. 3 more hits today and another home run, so he's off to a zooming start.
Yeah, absolutely. I really think the Cardinals are going to be pretty good, especially with the most recent signing with Holland. I
like that.
I thought that just shored up their bullpen so much, and what it did is all the guys that were maybe slotted to kind of do a committee work in the 9th inning now got pushed down to the 6th, 7th, and 8th inning and can be more in probably roles that are better suited for them. And I just think they have the chance to be really good. I mean, I know the Cubs are good, and there's some other teams they're going to be fighting with, but I think they could have a really good year.
Yeah, I wasn't, and I'm not keen on their starting staff at all. Don't get me wrong, but after looking at, and it's week 1, we're in week 1, but at Pittsburgh and Cincy, where I think they're going to end up, I upped their win total to 89. I mean, that's divisional play, and they should not be good, either one of them. Pittsburgh's off to a super start and so forth, but we'll see how we've got a lot of road ahead of us for sure. But the Birds are 2-2 now. Michaelis got the win, even though he gave up 4 runs over 5 2/3. I heard a couple of people talk like, my gosh, that was a great performance. Are you kidding me? That's over 6 runs a game. We're so easily, I'm not, but a lot of people are very easily impressed, Rip.
Yep.
I'm not knocking a guy. I like him. I hope he does well.
If you had my dad on your show, he'd go into a long dissertation about how starting pitchers are not asked to do near as much as they used to be, and not held to near as high a standard as they used to be. But that's just kind of changed in today's game. The bullpens become much more important.
Oh yeah, I'm not. I like the baseball the way it was played years ago. I do, but that's
yeah.
The Cubs lost again. They had 2 lousy hits against the Reds. My goodness, they only won 2 against the Fish. Their bats are pretty silent. Cincinnati shut him out 1-0 on 2 hits today. This Maley guy, he can be pretty good. He went 6, so that's a complete game anymore.
Well, the Cubs are interesting to me because I felt like after they won the World Series a couple of years ago, I thought they were just poised to dominate for several years because their core group was so young, and last year they certainly didn't dominate. You know, they were good, but it just doesn't seem. It seems like something's missing from where they were a couple of years ago, and I don't know how that's possible because again, most of their core is the exact same and a couple of years older and should be just as good, if not better. But it's still early though.
Yeah,
I still think they're too talented to not be really good, but they're an interesting team.
Yeah, and they probably have the best rotation, definitely in the Central. Let's see, Detroit won a game today, and Pittsburgh did go up to 4-0 at the start. So how about that? Are you a hockey guy, Rip?
Yeah, I'm a Blues fan for sure.
Hard not to be, especially in Columbia.
Yeah,
you're a slap shot away.
Absolutely a big Blues fan, and disappointing how they've kind of fizzled out a little bit this year. I mean, still in the hunt to make the playoffs, and who knows? I keep thinking if they make the playoffs, maybe it'll be just the opposite of what we've seen quite a bit over the last 5 or 6 years, where during the regular season they were one of the best teams, and then got beat by a lower seed in the playoffs. Maybe this year it'll be just the opposite. Maybe they'll go in as the 7 or 8 seed and run the table. Who knows?
Truly, that's been their MO for years and years and years, and I've watched them since day one. So that I'm starting to run out of time here, I tell you. But they're just a point out of the second wild card. They have a game in hand over Colorado and such. I think they're going to get in yet. They have Colorado has a tougher schedule. They play each other the last game of the year. After the Blues play at Chicago, it's going to be a crazy finish.
Yeah, it should be interesting. And with them playing each other in the last game, it might come down to that game. Who knows? But yeah, I'm just holding out hope that they kind of catch fire this last week or two and go in on kind of a high note and have some momentum, because we definitely in years past we've been on the wrong end of that, where we faced a goalie that's been the hottest in the NHL for the last month, and we have to face him in the first round. So again, maybe it'll be different this year, and we'll be on the winning side of that.
It still ends up, to a large degree, starting pitching in baseball and goaltending in hockey. If you don't have that, it's hard to win. It's hard to string a bunch together in the playoffs.
Well, it sure is, and I think hockey more than any sport, I think the playoffs are such a crapshoot because every goal is so tough, and a series can change on one penalty, on one power play, on one goal. And so if you have a goalie that's just lights out and can keep that momentum on your side, and then you get a break or two, you can win a couple series just by that, not necessarily being the best team. I think the hockey playoffs they're interesting and exciting in that way, you know.
I think of our 4 major sports, that's the most difficult championship to win when you consider how physical it is, and they're playing every other night. And like you say, the goaltending has to be on. A key injury or really, it's gruesome.
It is tough. I mean, I
it
never
can
played
be gruesome,
hockey.
But it's definitely grueling.
Well, I never played hockey, so I don't know the ins and outs as much as maybe baseball or basketball. But I certainly just feel like they say baseball's a game of inches, but I just think hockey, man, like I said, the goals are so precious when it comes to the playoffs, and so you hit a crossbar or hit a pipe with a shot, or you get a questionable penalty, and that can change a whole series. It's just it's crazy. So I agree with you. I think it is really, really, really tough. I think for that reason, I think Blues fans have to be patient, because year in and year out, if they're competitive and they get to the playoffs, I think that's what you have to hope for. And then you get to the playoffs and you almost have to take your chances and hope things line up right. And I know that it hasn't happened, but I just think it's tough, you know.
We've got a few more minutes here with Columbia's Brad Ripplemeyer and college basketball. We got Tom Michael on later, but want to get your views. We're down to that precious 2 now. Nova against Michigan, and Nova just shellacked Kansas it was lights out shooting.
Yeah. Well, I'm a K-State guy. That's where I went to school. So I have a saying that I root for Kansas State and whoever is playing Kansas.
Yes.
Because they were our biggest rival, and obviously I don't have much like for the KU Jayhawks. So I was happy to see Villanova play as well as they did the other day. I don't know if they can shoot that well again.
Surely not.
It's hard to imagine that they could, but boy, they are a deep, tough team. You know, it seems like they've got quite a few guys who can score and they defend and they just do a lot of good things. So I think Michigan's they're going to have their hands full.
Michigan does have a pretty good defense, though, and
they do.
So I'm hoping it. I saw the line. I really don't pay too much attention. The last I saw was 7 or 7.5, the biggest spread since 2010. But anything in these games, and Loyola had they chalked up a bunch of, well, it was a real nice run, put it that way. They squeaked by a couple of teams, and they made it last. And, hey, they had Michigan on the ropes by 10 a couple of times the other day.
They did. It was probably, I guess, midway through the second half before Michigan really took over and got a comfortable lead. And really in the first half, I thought Loyola kind of dominated that game and really controlled everything. So, Loyola, they were just a great team to watch. They just kind of played basketball the old school way with back cuts and back screens. I don't know if I've seen a team get so many layups in a half-court offense as what Loyola does. And, again, that just comes from good ball movement and good screens, good action by everybody away from the ball. So it was kind of fun to watch that. Because that's not the way all teams play these days. But
hey, they have a good team. But golf, I think you're into golf quite a bit, right?
I am, yeah. I'm not very good on most days, but I enjoy golf for sure.
Well, Ian Poulter won the Houston Open, and this must have been pretty wild. Pernilla Lindbergh, some of these names anymore. She won a 3-way playoff. It took 8 holes. That's in the LPGA circuit. Of course, the seniors were off, but you're going to be really, really prepping for this weekend. And well, before that, Thursday, it's the Masters at Augusta. So this is one of golf's biggest weekends, I guess. Pretty much the biggest, you might say.
Yeah, it is one of my favorite golf weekends for sure, to the point where I usually make some arrangements to have a break on Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon from anything else that I'm doing to make sure
somehow you draw that up, huh?
Yeah, I try and section off a little bit of my calendar so I can watch a few hours of golf on Saturday and Sunday when it's the Masters. But I don't know, something about watching that tournament. Maybe it's partly because it's the spring and it's the start of baseball and everything, and that Masters kind of coincides with that, and the weather getting nicer. I don't know what it is, but I always enjoy it.
Have you been down there?
I have not. When I was coaching for the Rays, Augusta had a team in the South Atlantic League, and so we played in Augusta, and I had been to the course a couple times, just like to the gift shop and so forth, to kind of peek in to the course, but I've never been there on Masters weekend. So it's on my bucket list, but it hasn't happened yet.
Okay. And unlike me, I'm sure you are a Tiger fan.
I am not.
Wow, really?
Tiger.
I have a partner.
I'm not. I think he's great for golf, and obviously he's increased the popularity of
no doubt.
a million times over the last 20 years. But I like Phil Mickelson. There's some other guys that I would rather watch play than Tiger, and that I pull for more than Tiger. But it is what it is. I know golf's better when he's playing. I realize that.
Yeah, but if I were golf, I would be worried. Well, they've got all these really good players too. I mean, because let's face it, it's a lot like New York Yankees or Boston Red Sox fans. They don't watch they watch their teams. They don't watch baseball. Well, in this situation, right. It's golf. It's not golf. They watch Tiger. They don't watch golf. And I'd be worried about that because that's the only way they tune in is if Tiger's playing and playing well.
Yeah, it is. My wife and I were actually talking about it. I think it was a tournament or two ago when he was playing, and they were showing every one of his shots and just some random shots from some of the other guys.
You don't even know who the leader is.
Yeah, I kept thinking, Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth and these other guys, they're not bad, and they're leading the tournament. So maybe they should spend a little more time on them, but I don't know. It is what it is. That's where the media is.
And you would never get those guys to say anything publicly, but they hate. I would. Yeah. Come on, look at me. I'm 5 up. He's in 8th place. 10 strokes back. Put those cameras on me, man.
I agree.
Anyway,
I agree.
But it's all good. Sports. It's all great stuff. So, Well, Rip, I guess we have to bolt. But thanks for coming on. We'll definitely do it again. And hope it went well for you. I know it did on this end. And say hello to that Coach Scott Horner sometime there. I did pick him off at a Carlisle-Columbia game a few months ago. And we have him on once or twice a year, too. So good people.
Yeah, I see Scott quite a bit, actually. So, I'll make sure and tell him hey for you. And I appreciate you having me on. We definitely got to do it again. I'll do it anytime.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, Rip. Have a great night.
That is Brad Rip Ripplemar from Columbia. He's a terrific athlete. I'm sure he's probably a better golfer than what he lets out too. So that Scores and Stuff brought to you by Mideastern Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning in Carlisle, the hometown source for residential and commercial work. We're going to bust our way back. Later on, Tom Michael, the Prep Athlete of the Week as well. Need insurance? Insurance you can really count on? If so, turn to Dan Imming at Imming Insurance Agency in Carlisle. Dan and his staff will provide you with the insurance coverage and service you deserve. Whether it's auto, home, life, health, or commercial, your choices aren't limited either. Imming Insurance Agency represents many outstanding companies, so get covered by the best. Call Imming Insurance Agency at 594-4536 or stop by 589 9th Street in Carlisle. Imming Insurance Agency, a proud supporter of Clinton County sports. Farmers State Bank is dedicated to the communities they serve. They've been making home loans for over 100 years. They are and will continue to be a strong, steady, common-sense leader that's always focused on what's best for you and the community. And remember, Farmers State Bank has loan professionals standing by to assist you in making the right decision for your needs. That's Farmers State Bank of Hoffman, Central City, and Hoyleton. An equal housing lender, member FDIC, NMLS number 404955.
Seaver Brothers has what you're looking for. Take a spin with Seaver Brothers and drive home in your new or pre-owned Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, or Dodge truck today. Let Seaver Brothers give you the car buying experience that no other dealership can offer. Seaver Brothers stands behind their products and also has an outstanding service department with qualified technicians to keep your vehicles running strong. Stop by Seaver Brothers, 811 Washington Street in Carlisle, or call 594-2624 for your next Seaver Brothers sales associate.
Nordyke Funeral Home is thinking about your future and offers secure, pre-planned funeral arrangements, relieving the emotional burden for those you love, allowing you to express your own wishes, and assures peace of mind with financial concerns when your family needs it the most. Nordyke Funeral Home has 5 locations in Albers, Aveston, Breeze, New Baden, and now Carlisle. Visit NordykeFuneralHome.com or call 588-3533. Striving to earn your family's confidence and trust, Nordyke Funeral Home with 5 locations.
Welcome to our music warehouse.
Lucky you're not the one who has to refile all these CDs.
Playing everything.
You've got Max 96.7.
Welcome back, everybody. Rip here in the Birdwatch and Health Mart studio on a Monday. It's just a little bonus scores and stuff here. We'll slot this in now. Congrats to Notre Dame. They won it was quite a tournament, quite a final 3 days, the Final Four in the championship. They win the women's NCAA crown over Mississippi State. And closer to home, and she's we'll have her on again, Mount Carmel's Tyra Buss. We've had her on since her junior year in high school. Her career is over now. And her and the Hoosiers, they won the WNIT as they beat Virginia Tech 65-57 Saturday. Tyra had 16 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. I mean, she leaves IU as the number 1, the career leader in points, assists, steals, free throws made, second in threes, and on and on. A fabulous player, incredible athlete. We'll be right back after this. This is Talking Sports on a Monday. Your full-line lawn and garden center is good old Plantland. For your complete needs from Fertilome fertilizers to plant products and much more, including Plantland's do-it-yourself 4 or 5 bag lawn care program and organic lawn care program. You can also scoop up bulk supplies of bird feed, vegetable seed, and grass seed, plus bulk mulches, rock, and flagstone. Plantland on Old U.S. Highway 50, 2 miles east of Breeze. Plantland, your local Fertilome dealer.
Companies are hiring again. That's good news. Bad news, you don't have the skills they're looking for. Kaskaskia College can fix that. KC's welding technology program can set you up with the skills industries are looking for. More good news, classes are available at KC's Trenton Center or Crisp Technology Center. Call Sean Morris at 545-3406. The demand is there, the pay is there. Where are you? Kaskaskia College, your future starts here. Ready to change your life for the better? Take your first sip of Honest Water today. Start your free trial of Honest Water at PureHonestWater.com or call 806-2081. That's 806-2081 or PureHonestWater.com. At Honest Water, family comes first, and Honest Water wants you to be a part of their family. The goal is simple: to provide communities of Southern Illinois and St. Louis Metro with reliable, purified drinking water at an affordable price. Say goodbye to plastic water bottles and unpredictable tap water. Say hello to delicious, honest water. Start your free trial today at PureHonestWater.com or call 806-2081. No contracts, no hidden cost, just pure, honest water. Call 806-2081 or PureHonestWater.com.
We tell you our music library contains an embarrassment of riches.
Except nothing embarrasses us.
Playing everything.
This is Max 96.7.
Welcome again, everybody. Rip here in the Birdwatching Health Mart studio on this Monday. Let's shuffle off to the Athlete of the Week.
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. Anyone I ever met.
The Clinton County Prep Athlete of the Week is brought to you by Easy In Travel and Breeze. Escape to paradise with Easy In Travel and Breeze. Call 526-2201 and by Little Augie's Pizza in Breeze, the choice for pizza, pasta, and more. Call 526-7040.
And this important bit comes your way at 6:28 on the noggin. That time drop courtesy of Breeze Furniture Jan's Uniforms. Our Athlete of the Week for last week is modern-day Lady Knights soccer player Faith Rackers, the sophomore forward/midfielder. She tallied a hat trick in her team's 3-1 victory over Freeburg last Wednesday. The Lady Knights split a pair of matches for the week, but she donned the trick, and Faith Rackers is our Clinton County Prep Athlete of the Week. She'll get a $10 gift certificate to Little Augie's Pizza. Do you like pizza? Of course you do, and you'll love Little Augie's. To Little Augie's Pizza in Breeze. We'll take some steps away, but we'll hustle right back. McKendree University is a great place to continue your sports career. It's also a great place to continue your education. McKendree offers a wide range of degrees, including master's degrees in business, nursing, education, and professional counseling. If you'd like, you can access McKendree's quality education through the flexibility of online degrees. To learn more about McKendree, log on to McKendreeOnline.com or call 1-800-BEARCAT. McKendree University is ready when you are.
Southern Bus and Mobility is your Braun Ability dealer in Breeze. Braun Ability features the broadest lineup of wheelchair-accessible vehicles with more brands, entry types, features, and price points than any other manufacturer in the industry. See for yourself at Southern Bus and Mobility why a new or certified pre-owned wheelchair-accessible Braun Ability vehicle is the only way to go. Call 526-4131 or stop by just east of Breeze on Old Route 50. This broadcast is a presentation of Wcxo Sports. Wcxo Sports is brought to you by the Benoff Insurance Agency in Breeze and Trenton, Breeze Dental Care, K&J Chevrolet, Reverman Chiropractic and Spinal Rehabilitation and Breeze Motor Sales, Southern Bus and Mobility, Kaskaskia College, the First National Bank of Carlisle, Reekman Brothers John Deere, St. Joseph Hospital Breeze, Med Plus Physical Medicine and Brett's Wildlife Lodge, State Farm Insurance Agent Steve Klosterman and Hardy's locations in Breeze and Carlisle, Breeze Family Vision, Tempo Bank, Country Financial representatives Keith Wilkin and Teresa Richards, and Area CC Food Marts. WCXO Sports since 1999. The sports voice of the Carlisle Indians, the Central Cougars, the Mater Dei Knights, the Westland Warriors, and now the Christ Our Rock Silver Stallions.
I'd like to start a campaign to blow the buttons off people's radios. Is that realistic?
This is Max 96.7.
Yes, we're still here, of course. It's just where I want to be in the Birdwatch and Health Mart studio for this Monday night. Wednesday night, one of our guests will be McHenry Bearcats softball coach Ashley Fleming, and a player or two to be named. And straight ahead, of course, is Tom Michael tonight from Eastern Illinois. He's our athletic director, and of course, he was quite the basketball standout at the University of Illinois. Remember, y'all, it's the Brett's Wildlife Talking Sports poll on my Facebook timeline tomorrow at 4:30 in that neighborhood. Check it out. We've got some, most of the time it goes well. You know, sometimes I put out a dumb question. The response isn't very good. It's all about timing once in a while, too. But last week we did the Cardinals. How many games will the Cardinals win this season? And 13 of the respondents said they would win 86 to 90 games, and it was 7 and 6. I know that for 80 to 85 and above 90 games. But we'll have a brand new question tomorrow at 4 o'clock plus on my timeline, the Brett's Wildlife Talking Sports poll. And I believe we have one just up definitely up the alley for those golfers and golf fans. Check it out tomorrow if you get the opportunity. And also, all these shows, of course, well, you're listening right now live on Max 96.7. And as well, they're on live at WCXO967.com. So if you got somebody from out of town who wants to, and I've heard from some of those, that's pretty cool. And then, of course, the archives also, they show up there at riptalkinsports.com, riptalkinsports.com. Let's take one more break, and then it's Tom time on Talking Sports. If you're looking for Nissan quality, be sure to check out what Munkin Dodge Chrysler Jeep Nissan and Centralia has to offer. Munkin's has the entire field covered with a great lineup of Nissans, including Maximas, Altimas, and Sentras, SUVs and crossovers, and Titan and Frontier trucks. And you can relax when you shop Munkin's because you know you're getting the better deal every time, along with terrific service after the sale. For your Nissan, log on to Munkin1.com, or better yet, visit Munkin Dodge Chrysler Jeep Nissan in person, Route 161 West in Centralia.
Winter has brought about change for 12 Oaks Vineyard. During the winter months, our tasting room is open by reservation only. So please gather your family and friends and call us at 594-7459 to make your reservations. 12 Oaks Vineyard wine can also be purchased at Hoffman Supermarket, Carlisle IGA, and the Columbian Club in Carlisle. 12 Oaks Vineyard at 18975 Vogel Road, just 3 miles south of Carlisle, and at 12oaksvineyard.com.
If it has been a long time since you've been to the dentist, you need to know you're not alone. For some, past experiences make it impossible to pick up the phone and call. Others are embarrassed because it has been so long. Hi, I'm Dr. Casey Santel, a general dentist from Breeze, Illinois, who sedates patients with pills. I believe in listening to our patients and finding workable solutions to problems they have without making them feel guilty or putting them down. Please call me, Dr. Casey Santel, at Breeze Dental Care at 526-2020 to schedule an appointment where sedation dentistry is an option for you to take care of your teeth without anxiety.
Are you looking for a happy dental home? Dr. Draghi and Dr. Santel are in-network providers with many insurance companies and have what you are looking for. New patients welcome and most emergencies seen immediately. Get back on the right track to good dental health with Breeze Dental Care. Call 526-2020. That's 526-2020.
Flying in the face of conventional wisdom.
There's no rules and no laws and lots of litter.
Every day.
This is Max 96.7.
Welcome back again, everybody. Ripper in the Bird Watson Health Mart studio. Oh, good news from South Beach right now. Trevor Richards and the Marlins have a 1-0 lead over the Bo Sox in the bottom of the second. That's a great start for the Aveston native, and good luck the rest of the way. Just go deep. Just blank those Red Sox, man. That would really be cool. All right, we had Brad Ripplemeyer on scores and stuff. You know about Wednesday's slight schedule for now. We're going to go off for some basketball. We take the Johnson Jewelers guest line up to Central Illinois for former Illini basketball standout Tom Michael. Tom, welcome back.
Hey, Rip. Good to be on with you.
And just like that, 3 weeks or so are by the boards. Suddenly we're left with two teams, Villanova and Michigan. They play for the national crown tonight, but I guess we have to get ahead of that a little bit. Your thoughts on Final Four Saturday, Tom? Number one, the Wildcats, they were rather impressive.
Wow. If I think that was the expression that Bill Self had on the sideline.
What could he do?
In the first half, the way Villanova was shooting the basketball, and they sure are fun to watch, and the way they space the floor and really share it and unselfish. They're certainly fun to watch.
They canned 18 trays on the night, 13. I guess it was by halftime, and used to pound a lot of those three balls home. But this was just not. Well, it was 22-4, wasn't it? And that proved to be the game. I mean, they played basically even the rest of the way, but it was too late.
Well, and the thing that was impressive is one, to be able to shoot it like that.
Yes,
in that environment. In a Saturday Final Four game, typically you don't see the ball shot that well. But the other impressive piece is that they were getting a lot of open looks.
Oh, yeah.
When we were watching it, I made the comment that when you watched Kansas on the offensive end, everything, the court really looked small because they didn't have good spacing, and they were really congested. And then when Villanova, in the first half, when they had it down on the offensive end, it looked like the floor was twice as big because they had such good spacing, and they could maneuver and drive and kick. And Jay Wright obviously does an unbelievable job there, coaching that group, and he's got a group of guys that no one and dones on that team, and
yes.
And really he's built that program, and really fun to watch.
And the Wolverines, they had to, or they felt they had to. Of course, they tried to match three. A lot of times they'd make twos, and then Villanova would make a three, but they tried to match 3 for a time, and I don't think that's exactly their makeup. I mean, the Kansas Jayhawks. So, but it's Villanova's. They're back at it, second time in 3 years.
Yeah, and I think what's really going to be interesting tonight is it's really difficult to shoot the basketball that well. And I think Jay Wright even mentioned that in his halftime brief interview that, hey, we know we're not going to continue to shoot it this well. I think the game against Texas Tech, I'm not sure if this is the exact number, but I think they were like 4 for 24 from three, and so what's going to be interesting is if they don't shoot it that great, they're going to keep shooting threes. But if they don't shoot it great, they're obviously good enough to grind it out and still win. But will Michigan be able to take advantage of it if they don't shoot it well? So it'll be fun to watch tonight.
Well, the main event on Saturday, that was supposed to be it with Villanova and Kansas, and that doesn't always, prove true, and it didn't then because Villanova was just so sharp. The other game was much, much better actually to watch as far as a close ball game until the end when the Wolverines finally, touched off a little bit and they won it by 12 over Loyola of Chicago. But they had to come back. I think twice they were down by 10 points, weren't they, Tom?
Yeah, Loyola really played a really good game. They had a good game plan and really did some things. And I think at the end, Michigan is playing obviously to play in the national title game. They're playing basketball at a really high level. Yeah. But they've got some length and they've really got some pieces that make it challenging. And then they're really good defensively too. And I think that it forced Loyola into some tougher shots. They didn't shoot it as well. And then when Michigan started making a couple shots in the second half, you could see that their confidence was there, and they had a little swagger as they were playing on the defensive end, and then that turned into offense and some runouts, and it really made the difference in the second half for Michigan.
When things tightened up in that second half, the Ramblers did have a couple of really forced miscues, which, I mean, but overall, I mean, they just had a superb tournament, and they had a good club. They had a good club coming in, and now everybody knows about it as far as that goes. I mean, they squeaked by, what was it, Miami and Tennessee, maybe one other game, and then they actually poured it on K-State by a dozen or so, I think, in the end as far as the final. But they never glanced back, and their confidence kept growing and growing and growing. And I like Porter Moser too. I like to watch him work those sidelines. He instilled a lot of that confidence too.
Yeah, I think that the run that Loyola made is absolutely great for college basketball, and to be able to see a mid-major team like them, and they had a great season in the Missouri Valley, which is a very good basketball conference. But to see them be able to make that run, it really just heightens a lot of well, it's not really confidence, but awareness for mid majors to say, you know, if you put the right pieces together, this could be you. And hopefully, you know, over the last probably 7 to 10 years, the number of mid-major bids into the NCAA tournament has gotten fewer and fewer, and it's really coming from the Power 5 or Power 6 conferences if you add the Big East, and that makes it a little bit more challenging. And I hope that what the Loyola run does is it says, hey, you don't have to be from one of those top 6 conferences and barely have a 500 record or whatever the case might be and get a bid here. There are some schools that are playing some really good basketball at the mid-major level, and they deserve an opportunity too. And that's certainly what Loyola has demonstrated across the country in the run that they had.
I'm with you all the way. I mean, hey, look at these outstanding teams who got beat early, like Virginia by 20 by UMBC. Give a few more mid-majors a shot. I mean, they're junior, senior laden team. They are a team, you know. It's like there's no one and dones there, and they know how to play the game, and some of them prove quite worthy. And I hope you're right too. I just I have my doubts if the committee's going to go that way. But St. Mary's was a team this year I believe should have probably got definitely ahead of Oklahoma. I didn't think they deserved any piece of the action at all.
No, and you know, Oklahoma had just they had an unbelievable December, and then really from mid to late January to the end, I think they ended up losing 12 out of their last 16 or something like that.
And they didn't win one road game in the new calendar year.
Right. And I'm biased towards Coach Kruger. I think he's one of the best individuals there are, but you know, it doesn't make up for the record. And, you know, if you're Oklahoma, you don't ever turn that bid down, but I'm sure that they were very anxious on Selection Sunday.
Yeah, it was only because of Trae Young. That's the only reason.
Yep.
And you can't do it because of an individual player. But the Ramblers, yes, I hope they propped up. They certainly bettered the Missouri Valley, didn't, especially with Creighton leaving and Wichita State here in these recent years. They needed this shot in the arm, and they got it from Loyola now. And so this was the Final Four you had, though, right? The 3 blue chips, you know, the blue bloods in Loyola?
Yeah, exactly. I think
I had Kansas. That's all I had out of those 4, actually, because I had Nova getting knocked off by somebody. I can't even remember. My brackets were so screwed up I don't remember anymore.
Yeah, it really got shuffled up.
I had Purdue in there, Tom.
Well, and it would have been interesting if Isaac Haas wouldn't have gotten hurt, to see what because that obviously you've got a guy that's 7'2" and 280 pounds and just a huge human being gets taken out of that lineup. It changes everything, and it would have been interesting, but. You know, Matt Painter obviously had a phenomenal season with his group, and you know, that's all part of it. Unfortunately, is you don't get a do-over if someone gets hurt.
The Big 12 had a pretty nice excursion through the tournament there. I know they had 3 all the way in through the Elite 8 then, and the ACC had 4 aside between those 2 conferences into the Sweet 16, but the Big 10 just with 4, but that's all they deserve, don't you think, Tom? Or could have you think one more could have landed a spot?
Well, I mean, I think it's easy to look back now and say, well, Penn State won the NIT, so maybe they should have deserved to be in, and so on and so forth. But yeah, I think for whatever reason, and a couple years ago, I thought the Big Ten maybe was back to where they were in the mid '80s to mid '90s, in that stretch where it was really a dominant league. But for whatever reason, they were down this year, and I thought you had 4 really good teams with Michigan State, Purdue, Ohio State, and then obviously Michigan still in it. But there was a pretty considerable drop off after that.
We're with Hoffman native, Carlisle grad, Eastern Illinois AD, Tom Michael. We got to get to a bit more in tonight's matchup, Tom, but let's go to your alma mater there in Illinois, the Illini. I got to admit, I was extremely disappointed. I didn't expect a lot, but I got less. What do you think's going to happen with that Champaign Urbana-based team in the next year or two?
Well, it's going to be interesting, and I've often said, and I've seen this when coaching changes are made, and I've experienced when I've had to make them, and I've seen it in other places. Typically, when you make that change in the coaching staff, that's not the lowest step that you take. There's usually one more step lower that you have to take before you can get that bounce back and start building the program. So I think that, Brad Underwood is running a completely different, almost at the other end of the spectrum type of system that John Gross ran. He wants to get up and down and get as many possessions as he can, and that type of tempo. And John Gross was a much more deliberate tempo, and so on and so forth. So he's got to flip the roster, and he's obviously got a number of guys that are transferring out there where he's going to have some scholarships to be able to bring some guys that maybe fit his system better. But it's gonna take a bit of time to get that in place, just from the simple fact that the systems are so completely different.
Is Underwood too not? I don't think he is, of course, but some of these athletes, young athletes today, I don't know, man. Is he too tough for some of them? Is he too much of a disciplinarian?
Well, I think that you hear some things about his practices and what takes place. But here's the thing that I've also been able to see and recognize with coaching staffs is the kids today really want to be taught. And when they're being taught and developed, they will work their tails off. It's when they don't have confidence or respect or think that what is being done in practice is really helping them get better, then I think that's where the disconnect is, and the perception is that kids don't want to work. But they will work, they'll get pushed hard, and if they know they're getting better and they feel like they respect what's being done is going to help them become better players, which ultimately helps the team. So sometimes that there's a two-way street to that. But I am not of the belief that kids don't want to work hard. I think, and I've seen that at Eastern when we've made some coaching changes, and we've had to do that because the development maybe wasn't there, and we bring a coach in, and something, Rip, that I talk to the kids about when we're in the process of making that change and going through the hiring process is I tell them that my responsibility is to find someone that's going to push them harder than they have ever been pushed in their sport, push them harder than they've ever been pushed academically, and certainly push them in every realm to make them better people. And so you start to lay the groundwork right from that very first meeting that says, hey, we're going to make a change, to let them know that we're going to bring somebody in here that's going to push it, because that's what our expectations are, and start to get that buy-in right from that first meeting.
Smith and Finke and let's see,
Black and Frazier.
Yeah, Frazier. Black, I don't know. I don't think we hear enough about him down here. He was a pretty remarkable player. Is he going to end up in Europe or somewhere? He's not going to. Do you think he'll squeeze in the NBA or?
I don't think so.
I don't either.
I mean, I think he'll go. I think he'll be able to go overseas and he'll be able to make a very good living over in Europe doing that. And I think that I think that LeBron's at least what I can remember when I was there. LeBron's family background is such that going out and earning a living basketball wise is probably a good thing, and he's put himself in a position to be able to do that with with graduating and such, and just says, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. So you appreciate that, and certainly he did a good job for them when he played.
It's a big loss. He led them in scoring and in rebounding. And Lucas was the other guy I was trying to think of, who also has, I guess, departed as well. Missouri, when the overall, when you consider they only played with Michael Porter on their team, junior, for 2 games in 2 minutes, something like that, and he came back after major back surgery. Really, they had a pretty good year, didn't they? I mean, he did well in the post in the SEC, and also in the one game in the NCAA. He was out of gas. It couldn't be any other way.
Yeah, I think it's a and certainly not knowing any of the specifics or particulars and just watching it from pretty far away, it had to be a really difficult dilemma that Wcxo was in terms of, here you got a kid that's going to be a lottery pick for sure, maybe a top 5 pick. I don't know. He certainly has that kind of talent. And he's healthy and he's able to go, but you could also see when he did play in the 2 games at the end of the year in the FTC tournament and in the NCAA tournament, that it really, the team was out of sync with him on the floor. He certainly got his shots, and that's not how they played it's a pretty tough dilemma for Wcxo to be in, I think. How you manage that piece. You want him to be able to play, probably needed to be able to show that he could play a little bit, but yet at the same time, it really screws the dynamic of your team up a little bit when you insert somebody like that is that dominant with the basketball on the offensive end.
Of course, at the end, though, Tom, they barely had any bodies to play anyway, and especially when Jordan Barnett went out, he had his little off-the-court issue. They were down to maybe 7, possibly 8 scholarship players when they went to the big dance. Yeah, and that certainly factors into all of those decisions. And but obviously Michael Porter Jr. If he can stay healthy, and when you have your back operated on, you just never know, and you hope the best. Certainly for the kid in that situation, but he has a ton of talent, and at 6'10", and as long as he is, and the way he can handle the basketball and do some things, he could be a special player at the next level. His brother too. He's good too.
Yeah.
Hey, what about
that was a good hire for Wcxo.
Yeah, I know.
That all wasn't it?
That was beautiful how that fell together, except for that injury. And
yeah.
What about your Eastern Illinois University Panthers? I believe 7-11 in conference play, and maybe a dozen or so wins on the year. What's it look for them in the near future?
Yeah, it was kind of a disappointing year, just to be very honest. We had a number of injuries, but just like we talked about with Missouri, you have to play through those. But interestingly, we had 4 point guards that were hurt at one point in time, all at the same time.
Wow.
For us, and that really changes how you run your offense. Our starting point guard went down in early December, and he ended up missing the rest of the year, and he's going to get a medical red shirt. But he's a 1,000-point scorer, 500 assist guy for us, Terrell Lewis, and just losing that presence. He was a senior. Just losing that presence really affected us. But we have a freshman that was OVC on the OVC all newcomer team, Max Smith from Carmel, Indiana. He had a phenomenal year, and we're excited about what he can do for us. And we're going to lose a few guys from graduation, Montel Goodwin and Musa Dama, both really important pieces for us this year. And then we're going to have a couple kids that transfer too. There's between 700 and 800 kids that transfer in the sport of basketball.
Oh, it's going nuts.
Each year.
It's going nuts.
and we're in the middle of that process as well. So recruiting is really heavy, although we're in a dead period until Wednesday. I think Wednesday or Thursday, and then they can get back out on the road. But we need to get some inside presence back this spring. We've got to sign a guy or two with that, and hopefully we can do a good job and get the right people in our program.
We've got a few more minutes left with Tom Michael on Talkin' Sports. Any inside scoop? I haven't made contact. I've heard things about our buddy Paul Lusk. In fact, I had heard that he had signed with another Division I team as a coach or assistant or head, whatever, but I haven't seen anything in print. But I hope obviously the best for him. Great guy, and want to see him move on to another good situation.
Yeah, there's no question. I talked to Paula maybe a couple weeks ago. Had a long conversation with him, and a really good conversation. And Paul is as classy as there is. Excuse me, as classy as there is. Does a great job. Really a professional. And just really sorry that how the whole thing at Missouri State went down the last couple of years. It's been pretty tough, and that's a tough place to win. And Charlie Spoonhour was there, and Steve Alford was there and had some success, and then Quanzo was there and had some success. But it's not an easy place to win, and Paul really took a beating, quite frankly, over the last 2 or 3 years, and feel badly for him in regards to that. But yeah, hopefully he lands on his feet now really quickly.
Yeah, this last year was really tough. I know somebody over there real well. I know you know a lot more, but man, he said it was pretty vile at times. But the very best to Paul there, and something again really close to home. Your son Nate, who we had on as a guest a few weeks ago, he was a great guest, and he sounded just like you. I thought it was you, Tom. I told him that but he's over at McHenry for one more year, and Harry Statham is out, and McHenry has their new coach now, Chris Foster, he's been one of their league opponents over at Truman State.
Yeah, I think it's a great hire by Chuck Bergeman, the athletic director there. I've had a lot of conversations with Chuck regarding it, and I think that Chuck zeroed in on his guy and really did a good job to get Chris. And Nate's going to graduate in May with his degree, and he's got a year of eligibility left. And when the season was over, he went in and he did ask for his release to kind of explore some options.
Oh, okay.
And we're not sure what Nate's going to do at this point in time to play his last year of eligibility. He's looking forward to meeting with Coach Foster this week and to be able to see what he's going to bring to the program, but then also he's kind of earned the opportunity here graduating in May to explore some options, and Nate wants to coach basketball when he's done playing, and so he's just trying to figure out what opportunity will give him the best options to be able to do that in the future. And Nate's not going to play professional basketball when he's done, and so he's got to be thinking about life after basketball and how he wants to achieve those goals. So that's the process that we're in right now, and just trying to determine what will take shape next.
Well, I, of course, I'd love to see him come back, but it's going to be his call, and whatever works out best for him, you bet.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way we've left it with him. It's great for all of our family down there being so close, and they've been able to watch him play a ton of games over the last 3 years, but he's going to be able to sit down and look at his options, and it might be he might be able to sit down with Coach Foster, and Coach Foster might be able to help him get to the next steps that he needs to be able to get to, that he feels comfortable with, and he can finish his career at McHenry. But he does have the opportunity to explore some options, and I think it's important to do our due diligence on that.
Very good. I'll be watching for that. So, and back to the game as we get ready to close it out here tonight at the Alamo Dome at, I don't know what time it is, but it'll be on at 8 o'clock when I get back. I know that. And Nova, I guess you're siding with Nova now too, and how can you not? But I just hope really, I'm not a Wildcats fan, actually. I'm for Michigan, and I just hope it's a good game, though. I hope the Wolverines play it tight and keep it tight, and it goes down to the wire or nearly to the wire. Mo Wagner, that's my guy.
Well, I was really looking forward to the Kansas Nova game because I thought that it would just be a great basketball game, and it just never materialized. I think tonight will be a good game from the simple fact that I would be surprised if Nova shoots it as well as they did Saturday.
Yes.
And I think that that's just going to keep it a bit closer. And I think that they're a better basketball team, but it would not surprise me if Michigan beat them tonight.
Yeah, and Michigan does have a better defense, right? So, I mean, that they're going to keep – I think they're going to make it a little more difficult for the Wildcats to score.
And John Beilein,
I like him.
We talk about Jay Wright a little bit. John Beilein is a really, really good basketball coach, and I think the piece also around college basketball right now is there's no question that John Beilein's doing it the right way, and that's refreshing to see that a guy runs a program the right way, not involved in all the other dirty crap that happens in the sport, and they're in the national championship game tonight.
It also seems like he gets his teams ready quite a lot at the end of the year. He has them peaking when it counts, you know it? The Big Ten tournament plus.
Yeah, there's no question that's as important as the recruiting piece and running your program the way it needs to. If you can get them playing the best basketball at the end of the year, that's a pretty good thing too.
Well, Tom, we appreciate it as always. Okay, drink some water. All right.
Yeah, I tell you, I've made it through the whole winter without getting sick, and it's supposed to be spring now, and we got some snow yesterday, and now I get a little cold bug here. So apologize for that, but it's always great to be on the radio with you.
No, everything went well. So thanks a bunch. Thanks again, and we'll see what turn it takes. If Nate takes a turn or not, who knows? So we'll keep an eye on that as well.
Okay, sounds good, Rip. Thanks, appreciate it.
That's Tom Michael. And we also thank, besides him, Brad Ripplemeyer. How about that? Another one. Wednesday night, it's Ashley Fleming and more on Talking Sports. Real Sports Talk on Max 96.7 Wcxo.
Talkin' Sports on Max 96.7 was powered by Brett's Wildlife Lodge and Winery in Carlisle. Talkin' Sports was brought to you by Munkin Dodge Chrysler Jeep Nissan in Centralia. Kaskaskia College. The future's yours at Kaskaskia College. Emin Insurance Agency in Carlisle. Farmers State Bank of Hoffman, Central City, and Hoyleton. Nordike Funeral Home with 5 locations to serve your needs. McKendree University in Lebanon. Seaver Brothers in Carlisle. 12 Oaks Vineyard in rural Carlisle. Good Old Plant Land. And by Becker Jewelers with locations in Breeze and Highland and always online at beckerjewelers.com. Thank you for joining us for this WCXO sports presentation of Talkin' Sports on Max 96.7.